LV, Rupert, Albert, and the Bishop Paul Brown. Bad man for the 2020-2021. And you know what it is. You know Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego too. This is Paul and Rupert's Word for coming out with a brand new thought, covered under the blood in which we were born. So we know how to get to.
Is for bold, A is for active, D is for determined. When you consider King David's valiant, you have an idea and understanding for taking this. Stay tuned.
Hallelujah, revive us again.
We are excited to bring fresh commentary, good conversation with two bad men. Boy, you don't want to miss this. Bad Man for Christ. Join us.
Just like Peter when he did his first sermon. As the saying goes, bad men for Christ. That is how we'll be for the rest of our life. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our show because we're stuck in the house with nowhere to go.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Bad Man Show. This is your host, Bishop Paul L. Brown, and I'm just so delighted to have you joining us on tonight for this wonderful show that we have planned for you. My co-host, is having some technical difficulties, as it may seem, so I expect him to join us momentarily. So, I mean, the Lord just have a wonderful way out to work things out, at least on my behalf. The fact that I am here doing the monologue all by myself, so you don't have to hear anything about the Dallas. Oh my goodness, I was just about to say it, and there he pops up. Oh, how are you doing, overseer?
So I heard you about to say, I heard the Dallas come out your mouth. I heard you were about to say Dallas and our big loss yesterday, but I'm not going to be concerned about it right now. I'm sorry about that, everybody. Good evening, Bishop Brown, and welcome to
Good evening, sir.
Show. Another episode, a great day. I had some camera issues. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here now, and I thank God for the time. So I hope everybody's doing well. How you doing, Bishop?
I'm doing very good, man. I'm doing very good, and I truly appreciate this opportunity that we have again, that we can be together. And I'm looking forward to have a tremendous time together, and of course I welcome our listening audience.
Yes.
And other than that, I mean, I did out of curiosity just popped flip the channels to see how your boys were doing. So
Right.
I mean, but we understand, you can't win them all. It doesn't. It's the big one that counts, right? So you have challenges along the way.
But this was a big one, though, because it showed us where we are. It was going to show us if we have the caliber team we think we do. And it's not that we don't, but when you get into a big game, you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the reigning AFC champs. 2 years ago, they were Super Bowl champs. You have to say to yourself, okay, this is a game that we have to win. There's games that we should win, but then there's games that we have to come out and prove that we are who we say we are. And again, they didn't do it. I don't know if it's the AFC West has their number because we lose to the Broncos, we lose to the Chiefs on the AFC West. I don't know, but and then Man U gets spanked by a very bad team, 0-4-0. I don't know. My sports teams aren't helping me lately. I'm going to turn to table tennis.
Oh, well, overseer. But other than that, we had a great weekend this weekend. We had our women's conference, and I appreciate you for coming on. Your support, and we truly appreciate that, as well as there were some other individuals. However, we got a great guest today, and a tremendous opportunity for us to talk about some things that are pertinent to our elderly population. And and we reached out, and I spoke to Miss Myra Campbell, who actually also happened to be was the mayor of Asbury Park, and so
All
she's
right.
going to talk to us some about Medicare and Medicaid. Now, obviously, before we bring her on, what do you know anything about that?
I know a little bit about Medicaid and Medicare, a little bit, not much. I'm not of that age yet where I'd have to get deeply involved in it. But I do know a little bit about it because we own a healthcare business, and Medicaid is, or Medicare is, a part of our business, and we help those who have Medicare. But we deal with mostly those who are can't function on their own and need help in the home to do certain things. And I don't know if Ms. Campbell is going to be talking about that aspect, or the aspect of the fact that Medicare and Medicaid is for everybody who's at that age. Whoever should so deem it, you have the ability to use it, and we should. So I'm excited to hear about this and talk to her.
I but what about the elderly that you have in your church? Do you know if they have signed up? You know where they are? Because I know at least I have not done anything, say, on a church wide basis to kind of gather that information and bring it into a church to educate our population as to the best selections that they can make. How about you?
Yeah, I have not gotten deeply involved with it, which, as I think that we probably should, because maybe, and this is why I think the show is going to be good for me, because I might get some things where I can now bring to them, are you doing A, B, and C? But I think it's important that, one, they do it, and two, that we know what they're doing. And because if they're not doing something they can do or can get help for, we should let them know. And I probably would believe that the Black community or the African American community is underserved in this area, not getting all the benefits that we need to get. That's my guess.
Oh, okay. So you do also know, while we're waiting for Miss Campbell to come on, what about Social Security? Is there a connection between that Social Security and Medicare?
Yeah, there is a connection. I believe there's a slight connection between the two, right? You have Social Security, which covers a lot of covers some things. Medicare covers a lot of your health issues. It's almost like having health benefits when you're working. That's what Medicare kind of covers. Social Security is a straight check given to you by the U.S. government that you paid into. So over time, you paid into Social Security, and so now you're reaping the benefits of that back into you. Medicare is something that the government actually gives to folks, or Medicaid. I believe they give it to them based on being seniors, or being or having health issues. I say, because you can get it at 18 years old, having health issues that need to be covered by um, the government and for us. So that, I think that's what it's about. So I think that it's important for us to understand that you should be against this. Now, I don't know if Medicare, I don't think Medicare affects your Social Security. Like some things, like your income, like, so for instance, if you get a part-time job, that can affect your Social Security. Medicare and Medicaid, I don't think affects your Social Security in any way, because it's not a guaranteed income. So I don't think it affects. So you should be able to utilize both at some point and get both. I believe. I'm not. I 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I probably would have been able to tell you better, because I was more involved with that when I did financial planning than I am right now on this side. But I would believe that that's the case.
All right, so we have our guest, Miss Myra Campbell. Would you oops, our devices got disconnected. What's going on
Wow.
here?
Oh, she's probably
Uh,
probably
yeah,
some danger room.
oh, did she touch something? My
But you
goodness.
know
Let's
what? What,
be.
what we can do is let's talk about, while we're here and our guests are here. Um, you know, the case of Social Security and Medicare. I hope people understand, more about Medicare and Medicaid, and there is a difference between Medicare and Medicaid. So I think maybe we should talk about that while we're here. which one's better to have. And in general, Medicaid is a more comprehensive health insurance plan or health insurance policy. So that's one thing that we should know. So if there's a choice between Medicare and Medicaid, you really want to look at Medicaid because it's more encompassing. The eligibility of Medicare is individuals over 65 or who have a disability. So if you have Medicare, you're probably over 65 or you have a disability issue. Now, that's what my company deals with, right? We deal with people over 65 who have a disability, so we're mostly dealing with Medicare. If you're Medicaid, you're pretty much as a low-income household. So with Medicaid, it's a low-income household issue more than anything. So, or low-income individuals, okay? So what does it cover? Basically, Medicare covers hospitals, doctors, medication, and even in sometimes that, like what my company does, we cover employees. Okay, I believe she's back, and I'm just talking.
Albert, bring her in, man.
There she is.
There you go. Thank you. All right. Welcome, Miss Campbell. I'm just gonna jump right in. We were just talking while we were waiting for you. Why don't you take a quick minute and just please talk to us, share a little bit about yourself with our audience.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me tonight, and I hope that I'm able to give the audience some valuable information. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, there's a little echo, but it's great. It's fine. We can deal with it. Thank you.
Okay. Let me say, first of all, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Oh, my God. I'm out.
Having said that, I'm originally from Pittsburgh. I live in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and I have been here for over 40 years.
Oh.
Personally, I am a community activist. I have been so for quite some time. And Bishop and I have been working on a project that deals with the vaccine, COVID-19. But in addition to that, when there is a problem in the community, I am willing to come forward and stand up and speak to the individuals that might have the power to make a change. And oftentimes I like to think of myself as speaking for those individuals that cannot speak for themselves because they may not have the knowledge. And as we all know, we're in some rough times. Also, personally, since we're talking tonight about Medicare, I have to share this with you. My mother passed away in 2003. And whenever I meet with a senior citizen, I feel that I am helping them because of my mother. Because had I known when my mother, more about my mother, I probably should have been able to help her more. And oftentimes we don't know what our parents or our grandparents, their status. So tonight, I hope to relay some of that information. And if you walk away from this with one good idea, suggestion, something that you need to look in, then I'll look up to heaven and say, Mom, I'm working in your behalf. And so that's a little bit about me. I could go on, but I've always had the drive, motivation, and desire to take advantage of different opportunities.
Wonderful. So, Ms. Campbell, let's get right into this thing. What's the importance of sharing this Medicare and I was trying to do something there to give a little bit of information. What's the importance of sharing it? Why should we share this information?
Number one, power is knowledge.
Amen.
Okay. And so on a yearly basis, and there's some people that have a block. So I can sit down sometimes with one client 3 times to try to get them to comprehend what they're going into. keep in mind, all of this depends on age, physical condition. Even though when I say physical condition, if there is an individual that I feel is not able to make a decision for themselves, then I must stop what I am presenting to them and ask, do you have a power of attorney, somewhere, someone that will sit down with you so they may be able to better understand what I'm going through. But, what's the importance of sharing? Every year, there are changes in Medicare and Medicaid.
Yeah.
So it's important that you have someone that is acting in your behalf. And I understand on this call, there are people from different states, and each state with Medicare have different rules and regulations pertaining to that individual state. But you need to share so people get the correct information, number one. And number two, they are knowledgeable about whatever changes that may have taken place and may affect them. I'll give you an example. You may be on a certain type of drug. Well, depending upon what provider you're with, they may take that prescription drug off the fee schedule, off their formulary. And if it's off their formulary and you order it, you could be responsible for paying a high price for that prescription drug. So you need those updates.
Yeah, I think you make a great point about with the updates, Ms. Campbell, because I think that even the fact that there are sometimes very little insignificant changes that the lawyers make, or lawyers, the government makes when it comes to the Senate and the House, that slip into bills that get slipped under the radar that people don't know about, and it affects their Medicare or Medicaid, and no one knows about it. It comes out of nowhere. So I think you're 100% right, and I think that people have to make sure that they do follow up every year to make sure, especially when the big bills goes. Whenever a big bill goes through, trust me, your health care is being touched. So you're 100%
The question, but overseer, I have a question now. Well, Miss Campbell, we're talking about Medicare, Medicaid. Talk to me. What is the difference?
Okay. For those individuals, and I'm going to put a chart up. This is Medicare, and I hope everyone can see it. This is Medicare. You've got to think of Medicare as being like a Johnson & Johnson. It has many subsidiaries. The major subsidiary is what they call Original Medicare, the red, white, and blue card that I just put up. When the health plans first started, everyone had the red, white, and blue card, and it was their medical program. If anyone in the audience has seen on TV the commercial, 80/20 commercial, then they have Original Medicare, the red, white, and blue card. So when they go to the doctor, that's what they show the doctor's office. If you do not sign up for a standalone prescription drug plan, you will be penalized. It will be a late fee, and you'll have to pay it as long as you're on Medicare. That 80/20 commercial is to help with the other 20%. Most people know A is for hospital, Part B is for medical services, Part D is prescription drugs. We'll talk a little bit later about Part C, which is a combination of A, hospital, B, medical, and D, prescription drugs. There are advantages and disadvantages of Original Medicare. An advantage is you can go to any doctor that accepts Medicare. However, with Original Medicare, they suggest very strongly that you buy a supplement. or a Medigap policy. With that, when you turn 65, you automatically are guaranteed to get a Medigap or Medicare supplement plan. If you wait until later and get the Medicare supplement, you may have to go through underwriting, and depending upon your physical condition, they may accept you or may not accept you. And every so many years, your Medicare supplement will go up. I had a client once and came in, his Medicare supplement policy went up $300 a month, plus the prescription drug, standalone prescription drug plan. So everything has advantages and disadvantages. And if I can express to everyone tuning in tonight, healthcare is not free. If you have original Medicare, Medicare Advantage, you are going to pay something, and it may vary from state to state. This right here in the state of New Jersey, oops, let's see. Hope you can see, is your Medicaid card. And Medicare is a federal program. Medicaid is run by the state, and the federal government does give some money to the state to run it. And I'm going to base these numbers on the state of New Jersey. If you make single and make $1,773 or less, you will qualify for Medicaid. And if you have $4,000 of personal assets, if you are a married couple, your income, if it is $1,452 or less, you qualify for Medicaid with a $6,000 asset limitation. I had a client once, and keep in mind, I have a license in life and health, but I have a client that via income qualified for Medicaid, but she had a life insurance policy. And with your life insurance policy, depending upon the size of it, it counts as income.
Ooh.
Why? Because if you have a whole life policy, and let's say you have accumulated a cash value in that life insurance policy, let's say $10,000, then that counts towards your income, because at any time you could go and pull that money out, which would knock you off of Medicaid. So, you know, and the woman, this particular client, potential client, even though one of her daughters was a caregiver, she refused to sign over that policy either to her daughter. And then another alternative is you can sign the insurance policy over to a funeral home to make sure that, you know, when you transition, the funeral home is paid. The other thing is, many of you have probably seen on TV, is it JJ Johnson, A Good Times?
JJ Walker.
And
Walker, yeah.
JJ Walker, the football player for the New York Jets. And so oftentimes there will be testimonies by people that you recognize, by this, by that. Individuals should know that when these commercials talk about free this, free, they may or may not be talking about you. They're talking about you if your income falls within the guidelines I just gave you. But the other, and they will say if you qualify, or they will have very small print. What they really want you to do, because about 20% maybe the people may qualify, and even people that are already on Medicaid will call because they think they can get something else. The other people that call in, the goal of these commercials is to get your name, your phone number, your address, and hopefully you don't give them your Medicare card. Because they can call you later, send information in the mail, switch products, even though they're calling about Medicare, Medicaid, they can go on to life insurance or whatever. So they're building up a customer base or a lead base, which oftentimes they sell to other people because they have your information.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the differences. One of the disadvantages of Medicaid is in the state of New Jersey, there are only 4 providers that offer Medicaid plans. And let me mention this. There are 3 types of plans: I-SNP, and SNP stands for Special Needs Plan. I-SNP is for people that are in institutions. C-SNP is for people that have chronic illnesses. D-SNP is dual eligible, people on Medicare and Medicaid.
That's great. And so real quick, so there was some flyers she held up or some banners. This is the first one, the red, white, and blue card. So if you have a Medicaid health insurance, this is what your card should look like. And then if the Medicaid was this one, and will stay your state, and this will be your Medicaid card. So those are the 2 cards she was talking about. So thank you very much. You said something that I want. Before I get to my question, we have one of our listeners, one of our very prominent listeners. He listens to every show. We thank God for Brother Hal. He's asking, what should an elderly parent let their children know about the status of coverage they have with Medicare or Medicaid? Good question.
I think I sort of alluded to it earlier. I wish I'd known more about my mother. One of the things, every 2 years, we have to take continuing education courses. Let either your trusted child or children in on as much information as possible, because as you get older, you're a little bit more reluctant to share important facts about your life. I have known a number of parents that eventually had dementia and claimed that their children were trying to steal all their money, which wasn't true. So the earlier that you start sharing information with your children or your trusted one, I got to tell you this story. There was a woman, an elderly woman, left her life insurance policy to her granddaughter. When she passed away, the granddaughter got the life insurance policy, and I shouldn't be laughing. She cashed it in and moved from California to Florida. The rest of the family had to come up with money to bury this person.
Wow.
It's not always someone in your family that is most trusted and will do the right thing, but you pretty much know who it is.
Yeah, part of that, and we'll put this out there because both Bishop Brown and me had these meetings. We had a lawyer come in to our houses and or to our sanctuaries that we pass over and explain to the elderly, you want to have somebody you can trust to control your estate. You want to be very careful on that. And so you bring up a great point.
Did I turn the volume up? Does that make more reverberation?
Yes, yes, just leave. Where you have it, that's good enough. We can hear you well.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Yes.
Good, Bishop.
I want to ask now, what about AARP and other organizations that are associated with these two government agencies?
Okay, let's try to clear this up right away.
Okay.
AARP is let me get back. AARP has two functions. One of the functions is to educate the elderly. The other function, you will see New York Life Insurance. They advertise through AARP. A lot of times when you get certain types of Medicare insurance and or New York Life Insurance, you're obligated to buy a policy from AARP.
Oh.
And AARP is not a healthcare provider. They are with United Healthcare. So the healthcare program is United Healthcare. AARP helps do the advertising.
Okay.
Saying that, and I know that we have a number of people throughout the country, but in New Jersey, in your Medicare and You booklet, and I have this written down, I just want to see if it's okay. Here we go. This will be true of all your Medicare and You booklets, and each state publishes a different one. In the state of New Jersey, from page 124 to 124N, 11 pages, and it lists every healthcare provider. And while I'm saying that, for those of you that are in the state of New Jersey, you can reach me at mycamp30@gmail.com or 848-303-0131. And I'm an independent agent. So when I go in and call on someone, I can give them or help them enroll in all of the healthcare plans in the back of the Medicare and You booklet. In addition to that,
Ms. Campbell, could you repeat your email and your phone number again, please?
Sure. MyCamp, MyCamp30@gmail.com. Phone number 848-303-0131.
Thank you.
And I have to add on to that, though, here in New Jersey, I can't speak about other states, but after you get from the Medicare Advantage plans, and as I said, New Jersey 124 to 124N, it will list the Medicaid providers. In New Jersey, there are 4 of them. So you can't get a Medicaid health plan from all the providers that are out there.
So, Ms. Campbell, boy, I tell you, time seems to be running fast. But I would like to ask you, though, what role can faith-based organization like our churches, Overseer Rupert, myself, play? What role can we play in getting this information out? Or even what do you recommend for how we can actually be a part of what is it that you're doing?
Well, number one, what you're doing right now, you've invited me to give out this information. So, we will give presentations. The only thing when we give presentations, and I give a generic Medicare 101, instead of a presentation that deals with a specific healthcare provider. But that's number one. Invite agents to give presentations. And I had mentioned earlier, we cannot go up to someone and say, I am a Medicare agent. Here's my card. So we have to get a referral, someone calling us or emailing us or the presentation. And so my best suggestion is to have conferences like we're having right now, And because we're talking about someone's personal information, the hope is once they take the card or set up an appointment, we go out to the house, because everyone's personal information should be private, and then we get into more detail.
Talk to us quickly about the deadlines, because you mentioned to me earlier that there were some deadlines that were coming up that folks need to be aware of. Could you speak to that for us, please? At least for the
I'm
state
going to
of New
mention
Jersey.
2 things here. Number 1, annual enrollment is from October the 15th. We are able to start meeting with people on October 1st, not before that. And it ends December the 7th every year. However, I cut off my year December 5th because I can't get from the north part of the state to the south part of the state and get my paperwork done, for me, December the 8th. All our paperwork must be in on the 8th, really. Deadline for the public is the 7th. But I have another sheet here before me. I'll make this real quick. There are 18 different times other than annual enrollment in which somebody can enroll. I'm going to mention just 5 of them. If you're new to Medicare, let's say you're born in July, then you can enroll. There are more parameters to that, but you can enroll. If you move outside the service area, let's say you have a particular plan and you may move out of state and that plan's not in that state, you can change it. If you have been in prison and you're released from prison, then you can enroll. You can't enroll while you're in prison. Some people say prison has a really good medical. I don't know about that, but that's what some people say. There are people that often either go into Medicaid or don't qualify any longer for Medicaid. That establishes a special election period. And if you're leaving your employer, that's another special election period. As I said, there are 18, but I just wanted to mention 5.
So what are the ages? What age? So can I enroll? I'm 62. Can I enroll?
You look pretty healthy, and from what they tell me, you exercise every morning. So it's a little bit early for you. You have to be 65 for standard Medicare.
Okay.
But there are people that are on disability, and you have to be on disability for 2 years before you can enroll. So it's not just people that are 65 that qualify for Medicare or Medicaid.
So we don't have a whole bunch of time, but I have another question. And if there's anybody out there with any questions, please ask your questions now. Ask it for you, ask it for your parents, ask it for your children, ask it for ask it for your best friend who lives next door to you, ask it for your neighbor, because you get a chance to ask a question from somebody who knows. We don't want you to go without information. So if you have a question, ask it now. We only have about 5 more minutes before we shut down. So ask your question. Also, please, if you like the show and you didn't get the whole thing, if you came on late, you can watch us through YouTube or through Facebook. We also ask that you like and subscribe and share with your friends. Send it out on your Facebook pages and let everybody know what's going on. This is not all encompassing. This is just a little bit of information. There's a lot more. If you're not in the state of New Jersey and another state, look it up, Google it, who was your Medicare or Medicaid provider, and that will be the same person who was the equivalent of Ms. Campbell that can help you in your state get information. So, Ms. Campbell, one of the things that you were talking about, how the church is helping, and Bishop Paul Brown and I, we're very cognizant of trying to help our churches with a lot of this information, because you don't have specialists in our church. We don't have huge churches where some churches they have specialists. They have people who do this stuff. So what would you prescribe that we should do as pastors? There's some more of the questions, not just contacting you, but what do you think we should prescribe? Should we have a series of meetings that we are bringing in our older saints or maybe are disabled saints, have them come in and have a conversation both with you on the Medicare side, on the Medicaid side, and with somebody else on the Medicare side? Should we have table talk? What should you think would be the best way for us to be able to bring this to our congregations?
I think you probably answered that question.
Oh,
there are reps that are ready to come in, and to me, the most important things, and I have to say this, the client does not pay us. Medicare pays the provider pays us. But we owe you a service if you enroll with us. And let me give you another example. If you're on Medicaid every 3 months, if it's appropriate, if you're not satisfied, that you can change to some other provider. You don't have to stay with them. If you're on Medicaid, you don't have to stay with them all year. And I hope almost everybody here, there has been a new program instituted with a number of providers where you get a card, just like the over-the-counter card, but you can go into a store and buy healthy foods, no alcohol, and not some other junk. And I hope everybody on Medicaid knows that.
I'm sure they
and
don't.
on Medicare.
I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they don't. And so you do a business where you help provide services for folks. What happens if they are not pleased with the service? Do they have, because a lot of times people think, well, you know what, I'm just going to stop doing it. What options do they have if they're not pleased with the service that is provided to them?
Well, number one, if you're not getting adequate service from your doctor's office, then what you can do is you can complain. You can grieve that. If you are not pleased with your agent, then what you can do is get in touch with Medicare, and you can complain what your grievances to Medicare. I don't want to go into that with the long detail. It happened to me once. However, it is incumbent on the agent to keep detailed records that you have done a thorough job in explaining what they're entitled to. As I said once before, a lot of people say, I worked all my life and why don't I get free Medicare? And oh, by the way, to get Medicare, what you have to do is work 10 years or 40 quarters. If you happen to be here and have turned 65 and did not have that opportunity, if you are financially able, you can buy into the Medicare health plan.
All right. Now, what some people in New Jersey don't know that I do know, because I'm in kind of the same business as Ms. Campbell is in healthcare services, that there's 21 counties in New Jersey, and there's only 21 Medicare people like her in the state. It's not everybody, every healthcare provider can't go out there and say, oh, I want Medicaid. It doesn't happen that way. You have to be approved. So you have to be somebody certain special to get that. So you're talking to a special person here who is equipped to do what they do, and she's been doing it for quite some time. So I don't know about other states, but if you're in New Jersey, you want to deal with somebody like Mrs. Campbell because she has been doing it. She knows the rules. She knows the regulations. As I said, everybody can't do it. So you just can't go to Joe Smo because he says, oh, I can provide you Medicare. Yeah, they can do Medicare, but everybody can do Medicaid. So you have to know that and make sure you're specific on that.
Ms. Campbell, we really appreciate you coming on. What I'd really like to ask of you is this. If there are any changes, any major changes that happens with the system, we would like for you to inform us so we can get you on to get this information out. It's the first time I'm hearing some of these things. I don't know. Well, Overseer is in the business. I'm kind of in the business a little bit behind them, but it's the first time I'm hearing some of this information, and I just believe that this is critical. We need to get this more out, and so if any major changes that happen in the system, please let us know so we can have you to come on and share with our listening audience.
Definitely.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We thank you so much for joining us. It was great.
Yes.
Great. And everybody, again, this is just the top of the information. This is not everything. You need to get in touch with a rep that can come in to give you information. If you have a pastor who is interested in this stuff, let him know or her know that they can get somebody to come in and do either a Zoom or a hybrid. Get information. I'm going to do it. I don't know why I didn't do it before, but I'm definitely going to do it now. I want to get it done. And that way our folks, our people watching, our members, our friends, our family can get this information, and because it's important. You don't know how many people, I talked about it before, I think you came on, Ms. Campbell, how many of probably the African-American community is underserved for lack of knowledge.
Right. And so also in addition to what the overseer said, please, if you have additional information, reach out to the bad man. We'll be able to do something to help you. Again, Ms. Campbell, thank you so much. And we just want to say thanks to everybody for joining us tonight for another Bad Man Show. We hope to see you back again next Monday, same time, same place. All right. God bless you. Have a great evening. Thank you so much, Ms. Campbell.
Don't leave, Ms. Campbell. Stay on. God bless you all.
Again. So sing hallelujah, revive us again. So sing hallelujah, revive us again. Return, bad men for Christ, like a seed, refugees. To the end, to the end, to the end, to the end. We out.